up to the end of this life spring, and up to the end, aging and death, the whole process is activated by the dependent origination. That is the 12 lanes of the impressional process of the life pattern. So start with the ignorance, and then from the ignorance, and when the ignorance arising, and then the formation is arising. When the formations are arising, consciousness arising. When the consciousness arising, mentality and materiality is arising. And then once this arising, another one arise. And once that one cease, and this one cease as well. It's just like a string of the loop with hope looping each other. So you cannot make it separately. They're all working together. But it's not just like this link, one to one. Sometimes, like the ignorance, is also linked up with the craving. And then the craving also linked up with samkara. So it's not like this and this and this. They are all linking together. But it's all influenced by each other as well. So they're not separate of each of the factor from the other one. So here you see from Venerable Ananda, when he met the Buddha, he said, it's incredible, it's amazing, it's that this dependent origination is deep and appear deep, yet to me it seems as plain as candy. So Ananda said to Buddha, thinking that it's not a big deal. Yeah, it seems like it's deep, but for me, it's really plain. It seems that he understands everything. And then Buddha say, oh, don't say that, Ananda, don't say that. This dependent origination is deep, yes, appears deep, yes. But if you don't penetrate the whole pattern, then you are not really understand. Because those factors is really tangling like strange, but not like a ball of thread. They are all linking together, and this 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 and this, and then it's just like rolling, and then it's like interwoven. So if you don't understand that, you cannot escape from the bad place. You cannot escape from the bad, like the hell realm, the ghost realm, or the underworld, and even the recycling, the samsara. So for teaching the dependent origination is really our job. We always have to bring you to understand the dependent origination in whatever meditation, in whatever way you contemplate the Dharma, we always bring back to you to penetrate this teaching that is important. So now maybe I ask a few of you, each one, because in our retreat we already pray with that, but I see how many people here now. I have to select a few people to get the games again. Oh, I see. May, T.I. May Tian Long. Hello, May Tian Long. Hello. May Tian Long. Are you here? You know, the problem is everyone having a black screen. I don't know, are you attending the okay,
yes,
so
yes.
I have to look, I have to look for you first. You are the one who talk about the ignorance.
Yeah, not understanding.
Okay, so tell me, when I talk about the ignorance,
Yeah.
okay, the ignorance represent what? One time you talk about this, okay, in the retreat. For you, now do you understand ignorance?
not understanding the samsara, not understanding the whole life cycle, samsara.
First of all, you don't understand the followable truth, the cause of suffering. Okay? The cause of suffering is the dependent origination pattern. So from this part, you will see that it starts from the ignorance. So one time we play with the game. So you said you are乜嘢話? You are what? 蠢啊? You are
Not an idiot. 唔係蠢啊。
So the main problem is you don't understand the followable truth. And the followable truth, the suffering, the cause of suffering, and the cessations of suffering, and the way of, getting the cessations of the suffering, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. And then you will see that this chart is really like a thread linking to each other. And then most important is this one arising, this one immediately, like a body pair. This one arise, appear, this one already here. And this one here, and then this one arising. But this one disappears, cessation, and this one also disappearing. They never come alone. Always one up and immediately the other will linking, another linking, another linking. It's all causing the cause and the effect linking together. So we have to understand that this dependent origination, this is our emotional patterns on our life. And because why? Because we are ignorant and we don't understand this chart is really running from us every day. Even 1 second and 1 second, they are activate like that. And then it will cause us a lot of unsatisfactory or cause us a lot of unexpected emotion. So we don't understand the followable truth. As what I just said, we don't understand the three characteristics because the dukkha is here. And then it keeps changing. And then with this changing, there's a no body there, not self. There's no body of controlling this pattern. It would just arising with this condition and this arising, and this arising and this condition come up and this arising. There's no personal, or you say I, me, my, to control the whole flow. So this is the first concept we have to really, really understand. So now generally, because last time we played with this one, and but now the CEO didn't attend to our class, right? The CEO is not there.
Sure.
Yeah. Let me look at the face. Yeah, we don't have the CEO. We have the team. But yeah, Ami is here. Yes, still here. CEO disappear. Anyway, why I call CEO? Because the second one, the Sampara, is the most important one. So, who want to explain this one? Just play the game again. Chen PC is here. Okay, let Chen PC talk about this one. Hello, Sister Chen. Chen PC, Sister Chen PC.
Yes, Venerable.
Because this one is the most important one. Last time the CEO is not here, so you are here, so you can really talk about this very well. The Sankara, why this is so important?
Sankara is a mental construct thinking. Because of ignorance, that's why we have Sankara. Then only we keep on go around in the cycle of birth and death.
Yes.
Because we create story with Sankara, all
Yes.
are our illusion.
Yes. Yes. And Sankara, why this is the important? This is like the CEO.
Yeah.
They are really,
Because it's the one who plan, who projects,
yes. And most important, the Sankara already include the identity. It's already there. The identity of I, me, my is already planned into this column, Sankara. So like I'm the CEO. I'm the one who managed this office. I'm the one who I am going to control and making something and build up something or running the company, running the profit, it's all there, starting from there. The Sankara, the main thing is they have the potential to bring back the karma. The karma for the past, the past Sankara means our past life. So some people, they put the dependent origination as free flow of past, present, and future. But this past, present, and future actually is within our mind. Just one thought of mind is already there. We can have the big screen is saying that, oh, my past life coming to this formation, and this formation will having a lot of influence of our thought, our action, or our mind. So I think we have to mute the mic. Someone please mute the mic, because they have a girls, we girls talking. So okay, so one time we play the game, push the button. So this is the CEO button, right? Yeah, someone can remember this one, the CEO button. So the problem is here one contain the karma effect. And then the self-identity start from here. Okay, so then we have the consciousness. So the consciousness, who can talk about this? How about Paul? Paul. Paul, okay. So yeah, you just read it. You just read it. Okay, of the sense door or the sensation to experience the world through what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we tangible touching, and then how we cognizing of all this feeling and the world experience is by this one. So they have all the cognitive ability. And then it's based on, also it's based on, I see it, I hear it, I taste it. So also is get into the personal self. So you can see that because of the ignorance of not seeing the dependent origination, start from the Sankara, the formation, I already built up. And that is the delusion. So we're still using the I see something, I hear something to activate the whole process of this dependent origination. But while you see the chart, you never find I, me, my, right? You couldn't find it, but you actually potentially even start from the formation that is already the potential of that personal self. But at that moment, it's just potential. And then once we get into the Nama Rupa, the 5 aggregate, so the 5 aggregate means that our body and the sensations, faculties, together with our feeling, our perceptions, and then the formation and the consciousness. And this is our really the physical and mental experience. And through what? Through the sixth sense base, through our tongue, the eyes, the nose, the body, and touch, and then our mind to recognize it. So you will see that this kind of flow, and you cannot easily experience it because it's just in the subconscious level. And until the sixth sense faculty get the contact of the outside world. But anyway, you have the chart where you already attend this, our retreat, you already have the chart. So I just show you the chart first. You can see the potential part, and then the impersonal means that over there, the Nama Rupa and sixth sense space, you cannot control it at that moment because it's just automatically you have this built in. Like when you look, immediately when you look at the form, at the object, immediately your sense faculty have to function. You cannot see that I see something, then you cannot tell yourself, I don't see something. You're like, I hear something, you don't say to you that I don't hear something. But it's still, the ear faculty is still working on it. But until we get into the samadhi, a very quiet mind, then our sense faculty already become the collectiveness. And then we are not using the sense door to dictate the outside world. Our sense door is all energy going inside for getting the inside. And that time, the sixth sense faculty is not really function for the outside world. But that's why we need the meditations to help us to work on our impersonal process of dependent origination. So now I'm going to work on the meditation first before we continue of this one, okay? I think while we meditated, I now guide you to do the cessations of the dependent origination. So when you know that, in the future you understand, but it's based on this chart. So now you read the chart first. Ignorance, formation, consciousness, mentality, materiality, sixth sense space, and now from the consciousness we move to the outside world, and then we start having the contact with the outside world, the contact of the smell, the contact of the form, the contact of the taste. We start using our sixth sense faculty to connect to the world. And then we start having the feeling with that contact. But with the feeling of contact, I like it, I don't like it, the craving starts. If I like it, yes, the greeting is coming. If I don't like it, the hatred is coming. And then either pleasant, either you pleasant or unpleasant, either you like it or you didn't like it, that's become ignorance. So then you have a story to support all this kind of thinking and craving mind. And then finally, you get into a data from what you experienced before, and then you dictate it and become your self-identity or self-mental proliferation, and then the action come out. The birth of action come out, and then the end of the action, you become a kind of, the things disappear, and you cannot stay there, you cannot hold there, you have despair, you have greed, you have pain, or you have disappointment, dissatisfaction, it's all coming. So now I would like you to meditate first based on this one. Okay, now please sit. Relax your body. Relax your mind. I invite all of you to sit as comfortably as possible. Check your body. If any place feeling tense, feeling stretched, feeling pain, either on your neck, either on your shoulder, either on your stomach, wherever, check on there, and in that area, just relax. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Your head, relax. Your face, relax. Your neck, your shoulder, relax. Your hands, your fingers, all relax. Especially your hips, your back, relax. Imagine you have a golden bamboo stick. Support your back and help your back to be up straight. The upper part of the bamboo extend to the sky, and upper part of the bamboo stick extend to the earth. Your whole body relax. Your leg, the foot, the toes, all relax. We always encounter the suffering. The suffering means that dissatisfaction, someone you don't like, and something you don't expect it. All kinds of disappointment, all kinds of boundary, something tight on you. You just feel you lost energy. Life is so busy. It's out of your control. If you think of, I want this, I don't do this, I don't like this, when you put I into your thought, that is the wrong view. Instead of that, if you put the whole dependent origination, the links of the dependent origination, all the time seeing it, then you are wise. You will be wise as Sariputta, Venerable Sariputta. So now you have to see why you are not as wise as Sariputta. Because you don't see, you don't penetrate the dependent origination. You don't see the ignorance as the base, creative potential, formation and consciousness, and move forward, become your physical and mental experience through the sense door. And then through the sense door, while the contact activated your sense door and the karma orientation to the world. So your feeling has all the defilement with your own mental proliferations. So now you have to understand the samsara is happening each moment, daily. The samsara is not just meaning after you die, then you rebirth is samsara. Actually, samsara is happening all the time. So now please bring up one event. The event you have to bring up from your memory. I would like to invite you to bring up a memory to one's event, the one event of the emotional, which you're very, very unhappy. So now you try to think of one event, like you have one, for example, you have an argument with your sister, or you have disagreed to someone, or you've been cheated by somebody, or something happened which is not under your expectation, but you cannot change it. So please bring up one unhappy memory. So then the memories appear to your mind. Now you understand the memory is from your sankhara, and coming up from the memory with the karma as the background. Once you see that memory, means that you have the contact through the mind as the base. Now the contact arises, stimulate the mind, and the background is the karma effect linking with the formation. If you see the memory of that unhappiness, immediately you will have the feeling. I'm sure that feeling is painful. Some people even, well, they have that memory of unhappiness, you will bring up the tears as well. And you know that you are now under the sensations of the painful feeling. And then if you really can see yourself, start from now, you have the tension, you have the tightness in your head, in your forehead. Or some people, they even have the tightness in the middle of the chest, or some area like the shoulder, or the back neck, or the back spinal cord. Immediately, there is somewhere that this intention manifest in your body, and you can recognize that is the don't like it mind. There's an uneasy feeling, that don't like it. And then immediately, when you see that the memory and that is story behind that memory, and that is what happened in that story. It was including your thought of telling you they cheat me, they disagree on me, or they shout to me, or they are not trust me. So all kinds of idea, concept pop up, and that is the claiming. And then you have your habit. Your habit is, maybe I don't want to take care of it. I don't want to talk to them. I just avoided all this kind of relationship. And then you make up your mind and take up the action. At that moment, you still remember. If you don't agree with your sister, you just say that, okay, I make up my mind, I don't talk to her. If your husband cheat you, you make up your mind, I don't want to talk to him. So there's actions related to your bodily, your action, mentally, so, or verbally, so you have some action responded to it. And then it create you a mark of grief, a mark of despair, a mark of pain, and become the cause of the suffering again. So the last memory, when you think of that and bring it out, and then you're thinking that I'm not going to take care of that, and become another cause, and become the recycling, the cause of the recycling, and build up to your sankhara again. So I just give you these 2 minutes to see how's the link of the dependent origination work by just bring up one memory in your mind. So now, if we have one memory and become a thought in our mind, you understand that is sankhara coming up. So now we work on this. When the ignorance cease, the formation will cease as well. So now you have to bring up the ignorance become understanding. You understand the whole process of the memory in giving all the story that is the cause of all the suffering. And that is I coming up. The I coming up and become the personal wrong view. So now continue. In your mind, you have to see the whole process again. When I coming up, and then the memory come up, the memory have bring up in the surface, become the consciousness, and then the consciousness, and with the five aggregate, they're working together and through the sixth sense space. And now the memory is from the mind, and then become the content of your feeling. So you continue, try to trace back all the process. And the feeling will give you the story of I like it, I don't like it. But within that, you have the tension and tightness. And that's the craving, you understand it. And then it becomes bringing back your habit to response. Then recycling again and become the cause. And bring it back to the formation again. So this is like a loop and loop and loop. So every day, I really like you to spend just 5 minutes. Each day, just 5 minutes, and sit. Try to bring out one memory or one things emotionally within today or yesterday or this morning. Try to bring up one memory of the event and move the whole event into this dependent origination. Try to work as what I'm guiding you. And then, while you see the pain feeling or the craving, I like it, I don't like it, might come up, at that moment, you release, relax, right there. Just release, relax right there. And that is the sensations of helping you to stop that process at that moment. Okay. So please open your eyes. And I would like to ask any one of you can make it happen to do this kind of exercise. Is there anyone can follow this exercise today? Anyone want to share the exercise while I'm doing that?
Yeah, I can share.
Oh, okay, please, Sandra, can you share what you have done?
Yeah, okay. I have tears. Yeah, I follow. I have tears.
You have
And
tears,
then
yeah.
Yes, and I can bring up the memory with my son.
Yes. So can you
Yes.
really see that your memory is moving you to the consciousness, the surface of your consciousness, and become your physical and mental experience? Because your memory is memory. When you have tear, it's already experienced it, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes. So memory is here, right, in Sankara, and bring up to the consciousness and become your experience. At that time, the feeling come up with the content of that memory. So the memory will have the background of some sadness. The sadness is because you have a thought, an idea of you are really a kind of struggling with that situation. So immediately. The feeling with that kind of I like it, I don't like it, together with the idea, the background of your son and how the problem is going to be, and then a lot of story coming up, and then you will cry, right? And then the cry is the truth, the sorrow, lamentation, okay? So within the 5 minutes, actually, it represents you the whole process of the dependent origination. But how can you clear out of that one? Now the people is, I am okay, but they are not okay. So I'm suffering because of them, right? People will always complain, okay, he is something and she is something, and then, so that's why I'm suffering. But in Buddhism, the suffering is not outside.
It's inside.
The suffering is here, the whole thing's suffering. Because once you put it in the ignorance, because you don't understand, the suffering is the reality. We always encounter all kinds of dissatisfactions, all kinds of changes, all kinds of unstable situations. You don't know. You have fear. You don't know what will be next. Oh, if I really love my son, I really want him to be really good, in good mark in the school, or have a very intelligent mind, study well, have very right attitude of doing anything perfectly. So this is expectation. But once the expectation is, frustrated with the changing, environment of seeing your son or your family is not really matching with this one, you are worried and you are fear because you think this is a problem. But for sure, everyone will encounter problem. We cannot avoid absolutely no problem. You know why? Because everyone is ignorant. Even now, how old are you? You are like maybe 30, 40, So you have so much ignorance before. But those ignorance, the age difference, the ignorance is different. The ignorance of seeing the things, the ignorance to understand the things. So the ignorance of how to crave and cling on the things is different on different age. So now you are still ignorant by the way of Buddha seeing you, because you see something is real, something is solid, but you don't see something will keep changing. And I just have one disciples in UK. They come to me in the temple. They come to me. She has a lot of sadness on the face. Then she didn't talk too much. She asked, "Is there, yes, meditation?" I said, "Yes, meditation." Then I said, "Oh, can I join the meditations?" Then finally she come, but she didn't tell me what happened. Then she said, "I feel lonely." She's very difficult to stay by herself alone. And then gradually she talked about the husband passed away, and then the son at the age of 31 just passed away because of the COVID. But the COVID, he got the COVID, he thinks it's okay, so he just stay home, and then next day just gone, pass away. The heart stopped beating. She never expect that will happen to her. And she suffered a lot. We never know what will happen next. That's why we suffer. And we also never know, even we are really get into the end of the life, the new life coming up with the same sadness, with the same consciousness, with the greed and pain and despair come back and back to the samkara with the ignorance as the background. And this is the real problem. It's keep coming back and coming back. So each moment, can we see our fault? Can we see the sankhara is driving us gradually at the end of the event, which include the death, the old age, the sorrow, lamentation, pains, grief, and despair. Everything. Not just one. Now you're seeing the sun, or you're seeing your husband, or you're seeing your money, or seeing your bank, you're seeing your finance, everything. Finally, there's an ending. Because we cannot take it together with you. There's always the end of the event, the depart of your love, and then you have a kind of sufferings. So now I have to move to the other one. First thing, we know that there's be really uncontrollable. The samsara means that we are rebirth and then death, rebirth and that always. We are seeing like this lifespan, but actually this lifespan is our whole lifespan is maybe just small portion. If our lifespan is that, now this age and this lifespan is only like this one. Samsara keep coming back. The lamentation, the grief, the pain, the sorrow, it's there all the time. Now you think of the sun, but maybe you encounter your final yourself, and what happens is keep happening. So can we escape? Or can we just make sure we go to a better realm? We don't know. So that's why the Buddhist practice is helping us. The thing is rebirth. Buddha said, why we are old and aged? Because we have rebirth. But the rebirth now is the life, the new life rebirth. But also the case, the event, they have rebirth. If we cannot find a solution for that one and let go of it and make it as a cessation, and then it will continue up, either in your memory or even the case with recycling. And you will realize that in your whole life, there's so many things, it's so simple. And then it will keep coming back because the karma is planted in the sankhara. And then once your sankhara moving up to the consciousness into the surface for you to cognize it, it's there already, just the karma is there. When you pop up, the karma already coming up again. So we have to understand that. So it starts from here, the rebirth. The rebirth from the sankhara coming back. So then it's the formations, as what I said. Oh, I'm kind of big deal, you know. It's all like a CEO style. It's controlling the identity. It's all coming. If you think that, okay, I have sorrow of my son, but if you treat like I'm just an observer to seeing these kids, you're not related to I am the mother and you are the son. You're not putting this kind of role. You're just saying that this is the observer to seeing this event. That is different. And you're making this the determination. Maybe it's different. Okay, the observer is seeing this event, and this event is different angle to seeing it, and how to the better way to handle it. So that's different angle. You can put in the angle. But if you treat you like a mother and facing the sun, then for sure your angle is just only one way. Just one way. To the mother, to the sun. But if you become an observer to see each angle of this happening, by bringing up your equanimity, you bring up the equanimity, balanced mind, and then just see it when it's happened. You may see the solution at the same time. Try that. So, okay, so now when we have this kind of root, having the great behaviors and delusion, and then it will root and become the body, the speech, and the mind, and become using this great hatred delusion as the filter of your perceptions, and then it will building up a kind of karma effect at the same time. So formation are the effect of period's choice and period's karma intentions. So as what I said, the sankhara, once it come up, is already with the other hand taking the karma to bring up as well and up to the surface of the consciousness for you to recognize it. So now when you see the problem of your son, you already have the karma effect bring up to see it. You see, already have this one. So of course, as what I said, that, and then here you have the sense door to connect with the consciousness. When your eyes see the form, you have the eyes consciousness. If you your ear to hear the sound, you have the ear contact. But it's all, the consciousness is all linking with the karmic effect. Okay, so this is the potential for consciousness operating within the process of the sense door. Its arise depends upon experience, and once taking it personally, although it's subconsciousness, you have the identity, but once you cognize, you're using the sense of personal. This is I, and this is you, and this is blah 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 blah. And that time, we understand that we are losing the mindfulness of that moment to seeing the things as they are. Is that the karma effect is coming up through your sense door. And then with that consciousness, as what I said, become your personal experience by using our body as a sensory door, sensory faculties, and then using your mind to recognize it. So anyway, so Sandra has shared one experience of her to seeing the dependent originations. So anyone want to share of your experience when you contemplate on that? Is there anyone want to share? Amei Lee. Yeah, while you do that process, I'm asking you to bring up your memory. Did you have anything come up to you?
Because maybe I couldn't find the one that really hurts the most, so the memory is very vague. Because I was thinking one incident, but the memory is very vague. And then when you were talking about this lady where she just lost her son, then I thought about many years ago that I lost my parents in the sense of mentally, not physically lost, but mentally lost. Then I thought about the process that you were talking about. I'm just trying to connect the process to my feelings at that time.
Yeah, actually, the thought already linked up with the memory. So that's why once you have the thought always link up with the memory. Like you can immediately remember of you have you have no contact with the parents, or you lost the contact, or you lost your parents, and somehow it's already based on some story or the memory.
Yes. But it's also at the same time, I doesn't feel that much because it seems like it's very far away and it's not important anymore. I have this kind of feeling. Whether it just happened a few days ago and something that makes me very angry, or I can forget about it very fast. It's like it's not important anymore. It's not important.
Okay, so it's good that you don't hold on the things alone, which is really good. Like you can let go of it fast, means that you are already having some experience to manage your emotion. That's good. But because now we try to help you to understand the dependent origination, so just give you a little bit exercise to try to bring up the thought. And from thought, you know that is from the memory. It means that it's built up from the some camera, and then continue bringing you to the surface of your sense door. Then you can recognize it. You just try to do a little bit exercise. Doesn't matter. If you really cannot remember, now that you understand the thought come up, that is from your samkara already. Okay? So
But
that
I do
samkara always with the story, with the karma effect, means that the previous actions will already build up some consequence. The seed of the consequence is there. So we call it the karma effect. It's there already. But it's also linked up with your habitual tendency, your bhava, to connect together.
I find that there is something familiar when you're talking about this samkara. I find it have something similar because I used to practice since I was young. If anything happened, I would not straight away judge a person. I would give them a benefit of doubt. So whenever my anger comes up, I would tell myself maybe it's not as what I perceive it. The person might mean it another way. So I will stop myself from getting into from there I can see I can recognize it's almost like the same process. The only thing that is you were talking about cessation in the sense when I'm talking about benefits of doubt to the person, that I should not judge them from what I see or think, but they could have a different view on that. So what I was thinking when we were talking about this, I was thinking of changing how I look into a deeper sense of what you were teaching, which is a cessation of our samsara. So I'm trying to make it more in-depth in the sense that in the sense of a samsaric world, you know, like the chart that you just now give from how to we are actually going backwards to the eye, right? Because it was from the left to the right. So we are actually doing backwards, which is from the right back to the left. The charts, it's from left to right. Now we are going to do it from right to the left, right? Back to the origination, how it started. If we can stop from being further down to our senses, then we can control ourselves. That's what I'm thinking. I will try and see whether it works.
Okay, anyway, I will explain to you or you again how we practice the dependent origination. So now before that, we have to understand our suffering, the suffering, the follow through the suffering. So mainly we understand that the suffering was we come into the world with the ignorance. And then finally from our baby up to the end, the whole life experience, we have facing a lot of changes. We are facing a lot of impermanency of all the, unstable environment, unstable situation. And then also our age become getting older and older. We have sickness and we are facing the death. We are facing the apart from our love, and then we're facing the despised one and unsatisfied one, and then we are claiming of the five aggregate. The five aggregate is keep also changing. So we have a concept for all kinds of sufferings related to this one. This is everyone understand. I believe that even the last session with Sister Chen or Brother Fong, they already talk about this. And then again, I have to repeat that because why we are saying the impermanence is ignorance of lack of mindfulness important. Again, remind you, lack of mindfulness of seeing in that moment, the experience, either the feeling or the perceptions, they are all impermanent and also being impersonal. So why Sandra is unhappy? Because you see it personal, that I'm the mother, I'm seeing my son. So the suffering and twisting together the relationship, because once you become a mother, you put the expectation to the son, and the son should be this way, or the son, which I really want to see, is this pattern. But even you cannot control your pattern, how can you thinking that he should be that pattern? She also have the karma to, holding him to running something ignorance, unless you train him to be understanding what the action becomes the cause and consequence. What is the cause that become what kind of consequence? You cannot control your family. Even you cannot control yourself. There's no I to control. So if there's no I to control myself, so for sure I cannot control the others, because there's also no him or her to control. It's the dependent origination of that condition controlling. So you have to wisely see what is the condition there. And then either you allow that condition happen, but you don't put emotion, or you create another kind of conditions to replace these conditions, but not using a subjective way to try to control anything. And that really causes a lot of headache, a lot of suffering. So the ignorance, seeing and recognizing, you don't know the fundamental truth, you don't know what is the cause, and you don't know how to do the cessation and the way of doing this. And then you don't see the impersonal nature, impersonal process of dependent origination. And then you don't understand anicca, dukkha, anatta. So it's all conditioned with the teens. And then because now the young child, the young kids, their condition is what? The stimulation of their defilement. They are grabbing and craving of all the sensual pleasure. The taint of sensuality, the existence, and the taints of ignorance. And then, of course, we just mentioned the formation, influence the influence the formations. So now, for example, Sandra, he has something unhappy of seeing the arising phenomenon of the sun. But she didn't realize that the whole pattern of the dependent nation also, this is impermanent, this is conditioned, and it is dependently arising. Now the sun is dependent arising because of the craving on sensual pleasure. But don't worry, it will subject to destruction, vanishing, phasing away, and cessation. All the phenomenon is always arising, changing, and disappearing. It never stays forever. That's for sure. Guarantee you. So your worry of this present moment, you have to really see that what this specific conditionality is running. What condition is really running? Instead of, this is my son, I am worried. Because you said, I am worried, doesn't help. But if you really see that what kind of specific conditionally arising on that part and on that moment, so maybe you have the idea to deal with it. You understand that it's all talking about the conditions. So most of the people, we will see it from the context. In that context, it's only the stimulation. So we can first avoid that contact. If you have the contact of worry, you avoid the worry as your contact. So like when we do the 6 hours, once we have something come up, the thought come up, release, don't pay attention to it. So that is the contact. We are doing that in here. Release it. No more follow-up means that not using the contact to stimulate the later on the feeling and craving. On that part, you release, relax, then that is the sensations already come out. So if you do the cessation, you are running the third noble truth. Okay, now you see the suffering. You see the sankhara, and it's coming up to the surface of consciousness. And once you bring the consciousness link up with your 5 equity and using it to stimulate your feeling, and then the craving stops. So our working part is the contact of the 6 hour, using the 6 hour to release, relax, that the cessation appears. Okay? And then the feeling will not continue. If the contact already, under the contact, there's a cessation. So the feeling is what? The feeling is not continue. And the feeling is not continue, your craving will not continue. Of course, the contact somehow is very, very difficult at that moment. Well, I see you, I cannot control my eyes to see you. But I can control when the feeling, if I see you, I don't like it, immediately I see I don't like it, and at that moment, I can just use the 6 hour to let go of it. Don't follow it. So the best part is we can handle it in feeling or craving. These 2 parts. Please remember it. Badana and tanha. These 2 parts. We can work every time it come up, every time you use the 6 hour, then you are not going to continue up to the lamentation despair. And the most important, if we can stop in the feeling or the craving, means that the bhava, the becoming of the new things, means that the becoming of the new karma stop. So this one will not continue anymore. If we can working on this part and working on this part, only these two parts, we are easily handle it. So please, if you have to write down, please write down. So make sure when we work on the dependent originations, if we want, we've stopped our samsara. This two part is the very important part, the feeling and craving. We can work on this, okay? And then once you stop here, the feeling and craving, and then the becoming, this part, the one is going to build up another new karma, and that part stop. Okay? So this is how we have the easier way to control the dependent origination. Okay, so Bhikkhu, I will teach you dependent origination with ignorance as condition. The formations come to be. With formation as condition, consciousness come to be. With consciousness as condition, nama and name and form come to be. And name and form as condition, the sixth sense base come to be. With the sixth sense base as condition, okay, please also you follow. Please chanting for me together. Okay, please read. With the sixth sense base as conditions, contact come to be. With contact as conditions, feeling come to be. With feeling as conditions, cravings come to be. With craving as conditions, clinging come to be. With clinging as conditions, existence come to be. With existence as conditions, birth comes to be. With birth as conditions, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair come to be. Such is the original of this whole mass of suffering. This bhikkhu is called dependent origination. But with the reminderless facing away and cessation of ignorance comes cessation of volitional formation. With the cessations of volitional formations, cessations of consciousness. With the cessations of consciousness, cessations of name and form. With the cessations of name and form, cessations of sixth sense base. With the cessations of the sixth sense base, cessations of contact. With the cessations of contact, cessations of feeling. With the cessations of feeling, cessations of craving. With the cessations of craving, cessations of clinging. With the cessation of clinging, cessations of existence. With the cessations of existence, cessations of birth. With the cessations of birth, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure, and despair cease. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. So now you will see that with the cessations of feeling will be the cessations of craving. So now this part we can easily handle it. So here's the Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 43, Mahavadala Sutta. He's the worst Buddha saying that with the faith is not Buddha, is another one. With the phasing away of ignorance, with the arising of true knowledge. So now you see that we need to have the true knowledge. And then with what? With the cessations of craving. As that's what I said, renewal of being in the future is not generated. You see, even this part, the cessation of craving, and you have the true knowledge of the dependent origination, you stop the samsara, you stop the pain. Just one link, cessation of craving. Okay? And also, the Majjhima Nikaya 74, is saying that pleasant feeling is, now we talk about the feeling, right? Pleasant feeling is impermanent, is conditioned, dependently arising, like what we see from the dependent origination, but subject to destruction, vanishing, phasing away, and ceasing, and painful feeling as well, and neither painful nor pleasant feeling as well. So impermanency is not really bad. Impermanency means that it's conditioned, but we have a chance to what? We're using that kind of impermanency to make it change. Again, to remind you, once you do the 6 hours, recognize it. If you recognize the feeling, either the pleasant, either the painful, either the neither painful nor pleasant, you recognize it, release it, because that's conditioned there, release it, relax, and change it by smiling, and bring up the joy, or bring up the calm mind, bring up the equanimity, and that ceases. We stop there. So we're using the dependent region where you recognize the thought, or you recognize your feeling, or you recognize your craving. At that moment, release, relax, we smile, come back, bring up the mindfulness, and bring up the joy, or bring up whatever is with peace, or some wholesome activities. And then you're practicing. And finally, you let go of all the karma effect. That is important. So,
Venerable,
yes,
here, can I ask a question? I mean,
yes,
of course, it's not possible to do the 6 hour all the time, but example, in sometimes maybe our instinct, or there's danger, or something that actually, that feeling is kind of unpleasant, but we shouldn't 6 hour it, right? If we feel some sort of danger or something, then we should respond accordingly. If we 6 hour instinctive feeling that something is going to happen, just a comment.
well, whatever, you can adjust that kind of linking at that moment. You see it, and then at that moment, you can just don't follow continuously, and means that the further link will not happen. So you just find your way to do it. Some people, they find a way of just smiling, or some people, they find a way of just be silent for a while and whatsoever. First of all, you are not controlling those things. You cannot control the dependent origination, because it's arising, it will arise. It ceases, it will cease. So now you have to understand first. You have to see and understand the dependent origination first. And it's easy to see it is try to bring up your memory, as what I do in the exercise, right? You bring up your memory, then in the memory, then you see how it works. You're familiar with the process. And then you will find your way of doing it. Do you familiar? I don't think you're familiar with this. But when I do the exercise of bring up your memory, is it working on you? Can you see something? It's pop up from your storage, a kind of storage
yes,
come up.
yes,
It's from your memory, and then it will
Yes.
pop up in your consciousness, and then from your consciousness, it's become your attitude of putting it. I have that kind of things happening. The I is coming. So now try to work out this kind of a progress, and then suddenly you become very, very sharp of seeing things. Even before any kind of any kind of anxiety, any kind of vibration come up, you can see, and that part of the vibration, once you see it, even the formation is not start yet, you can just release it. And once you relax, it's already stopped. Once you get into the samadhi, once you get into the samadhi, you will see the vibration. Actually, the vibration is the formation. The vibration is like an electric pulse, and then it will just run around to your nervous system and click into your memory cells, and then bring it to the forehead and become the perceptions. Of course, I'm not really clear of these things working, but now the neuroscience, they already dictated that we have some memory cells and blah, 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 but the electric is the formation. The electric circuits is the formation. So the once you get into deeper meditation, you see the formation. It's like a little vibration, like that, and then become like a consciousness. And people have the experience. Yeah, anyone have that experience? I think Sandra had this experience. Like yeah, you have. And that's already become the surface of the consciousness. It's arising and disappearing, arising, disappear, arising, disappear, arising, disappear of the consciousness. But underneath is the vibration. Because when you come up to the surface, it's consciousness. You have that experience when you get into the deeper samadhi. So even for us, we can let go of the formation, not just feeling and craving. We can see it in the meditation, like a little bit heat, like a little bit like that in the meditation. So work on the meditation. When you sit longer, once you have the samadhi, then it's worked out. And then finally, you don't need to work on the 6 hours. Immediately, you just let go of it. I mean, once you work the 6 hours very well, you are really get into like a habit. So the 6 hours is finished. Finish. It's not boom, boom, boom. It's not 6 steps. It's become one flow, just one flow. Finish. So you can keep the happy mind all the time. Once you practice the 6 hours well, become automatically, it will become your habit. Okay? So practice more. It's what our teachers told me. Even Nelson will keep saying to you, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours. This is this is our training, but it's really worked well. Okay, so next week, if you have any other topics, especially you want to discuss, so WhatsApp me personally. Okay, if not, we continue on the contemplations of the loving kindness again. I hope I can bring you in the deeper samadhi next time. I will put in the flow again, okay? Next week, the whole process of the cessation using the Brahma Vihara. And then I will explain to you the Brahma Vihara again, okay? What is Brahma Vihara? Okay, so let's do some sharing. I just trying to, I didn't bring out the words. May sufferings one be sufferings free, and fears trust, fearless be. May the grieving share all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisitions of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, Devas and Nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
Thank you. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Venerable.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Venerable. Sadhu,
Yeah,
sadhu,
bye-bye.
sadhu.
Thank you, Venerable. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Bye-bye.